we're going to replace it. And we don't, whether we get insurance or we don't get insurance.
Agree.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a delay waiting on insurance.
There's no delay.
I was going to say, they'll have to be.
So you're looking
One at a time,
engineering?
Yes, I'm waiting for the engineering. Yes, sir.
I think really what's going on here, this is, I believe Marty's saying, okay, we're going to be doing this process to evaluate where we are, but at the same time, let's not get trapped with a no competitive bid situation on replacing bearing pool, and we start that process now. Well, start getting some bids.
Well, here's why I haven't put that out yet. I'd like to know from the engineer, is it repairable? I don't want to put an RFP out for a repair and rebuild. I want to know what the engineer tells me. I think he's going to say it's got to be recommendations replaced. I'm going to get it to you guys. We're already working on RFP put out. We're preparing for it. We're not slowing this process down at all, but I've got to follow a process.
You have to have some knowledge of what you're asking.
Well, no, but I'm just getting to the point. I wanted that answer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are
yes.
in process.
I want it open as early as possible. Please
right.
understand, I won't slow opening something.
And yeah, and I guess from a Marty's perspective, mine too, maybe, you know, if we can't get there, we're not going to hurry it up. We're not going to hurry up that process again. That's not possible. If I can get it from this price, not possible, because it won't be open on Memorial Day. It won't be open on Memorial Day if you haven't finished that process. Okay? Is that?
Again, I think we're all saying the same thing. I mean, I'm doing the evaluation. If there's something else you want differently, then say do something different. I think I'm following the right course of action.
One thing I'd like to add, we have discussed in the past with the reports I've read that pump house is an issue too. Now, was that affected during the storm?
It filled with
Probably
water. It always
yeah.
fills with water.
So is that going to also be addressed
If
as
we
part of this
if
whole
we
thing? I mean,
replace
the
the
whole
pool, if we
pump.
replace the pool, we'll take care of the pump house at the
Good.
time because we have to put more concrete there.
And the deck.
And the yeah, everything. I mean, I don't want to tell you here's what we're going to do. Again, I really do try to follow the process and say here's what's happening. As soon as the engineering report comes in.
I think we've covered this topic pretty thoroughly. At this point, we're going to get a number to do as to what, I know you were waiting to try to get us the right sentence. I think the bottom line is the consensus I'm getting from this board up here is this is not something we're going to let sit for very long, and we're not going to debate whether or not we replace it or not. It will, in fact, be replaced. And we are going to have a competitive bid process, and if it ends up being that we're 2 or 3 or a month late into the season in order to get the right tool, the right solution, with the right contract, I think everybody's head's going, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Because whatever we do here is going to be a 40 to 50 year investment. Okay, move on. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple of snapshots for those that didn't see it, how everyone pulled together with all the donations. We actually ended up with a 53-foot tractor trailer, pickup truck towing a 20-foot trailer of boxes, and our community really stepped up. And that's where we hit a couple of the locations and unloaded. It was really a great experience.
Please notice the laborer in the white jacket.
The sore back.
That's sure.
Tennis resurfacing project, just want to cover that real quick, where we did the drainage work, get the drain, to improve that. That seems to be working, so we're moving forward with tennis courts. If you haven't been down there, we just got some snapshots to show you the work that's been going on. Everyone, talking with Sonia, talking with Eddie from Public Works, talking with the tennis folks, they seem to be pleased with the results that they're seeing right. Road resurfacing is underway for anybody that hasn't seen it. They're out moving right along with that. It's just starting to go. I've heard from some of the folks on those streets. They very much appreciate the work that's being accomplished. They're really looking a lot better than they were. Okay, big issue came up about property consideration, purchase, not purchase, what's allowed, what's not allowed. Here's, you all directed me to talk about this, so I'm going to give just real brief. We have Pine Shore property next to us, which is just under 100 acres. The initial look at the property was designed around the fact we have a Section 3 drainage problem we've had for years. We have 3 solutions that were put in place this well before my time: $500,000 solution, a $1.4 million solution, and a $4 million solution. It was a 2-year, a 10-year, and 25-year flood event to move that water away from that section. So they've been dealing with this for years and years and years. So looking at the property, looking and working with the county, because I've been working with them for at least 1.5 years on draining it differently, moving it through River Run property, increasing the pipe size. But if you go back and look at history, we've had several solutions with the county that we're partnering with to get it done. It's just we haven't gotten to that point. So I'm looking at other options. That was the first and most important thing when I brought it to the board. The board understood that, and that's where we started. Yes?
Just so I'm clear, no matter what we do, it's got to be in conjunction with the county. You cannot go underneath Beecham Road. Only the county can.
Okay.
Am I right or wrong?
You're correct.
Okay, that's just very important. I mean, you're talking about the county holding this up. No matter what we do, until we have the county on board to go underneath the road, we're to stop.
Okay, 2 things. I didn't say the county held us up. I gave you facts if it's taking a long time working with them.
Okay.
Secondly, we already go under Beecham Road.
Yep.
Goes in, it angles this way, it deadheads, then goes back towards the River Run property. So yes, I'm very much aware of it. I've been looking at it. I'm not going to ignore potential solutions for all the residents that live in Section 3 that no one's been able to resolve for 15 years. So this is a solution. Now, like it or not, you all get to decide whether we do it or not. That was the starting point of why it's even being considered right from the get-go.
What is the latest on Madison?
Last time we talked, you were talking to him.
Well, he was right here in your town hall meeting. He gave an update on it. I wasn't.
That was the latest update.
You're the general manager. I'm just the director. What is the most recent that you know of?
The most recent I know of is they're trying to work with, and I want to say DW, but maybe DMW, Mr. Meltzer's engineering firm. That's the last place where it was.
And he believes that this can be accomplished at total cost to the county.
Who's he?
Our county commissioner.
Mr. Bunning, I believe, shared that, yes.
Yes, okay. I'm just trying to compare that and offsetting these huge numbers you're throwing.
I think, Marty, what Bob is saying is that this is what initiated the thing that we started talking back in April.
Yes, sir.
But
That's
is there still a
correct.
reason to consider it?
No, I don't think he said it was still a reason to consider it.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
That's all.
He didn't say that.
It's not my decision whether we consider it or not. Quite frankly, it's entirely up to you all. I'm going to continue to bring possible solutions for things facing the community. We have Section 3 drainage that's been going on for many, many years. Many of you have been on the boards and sat through over and over. We can't fix it. We can't. This is a way that we can fix it for our residents. If you don't like it, say let's not do it. It's really a simple process.
Bob, if I can, you're covering all ground. Did consider it. Leave it at the county, and having the county do it is the correct solution. And so that's not new information to us. Anybody here? No, it's not new. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure. You told me to brief on what we did, so it's
No, we did
No.
not.
Whoa, don't. Again, the animosity, it just doesn't make sense around this. Do you want it?
It's not animosity. It's frustration. We did not ask commentary because what we did say last is that we did not have all the information that might be available. And there are several different issues. And what we asked to come here, go out, explore a program, and come back with additional information. Now, I'm just pointing out that's not additional.
Well, if you read the motion that was provided to me of what I needed to prepare and do, I'm following that. I was not at the closed session.
Well,
I'm not getting into it. Don't really care what it was. You direct me of what you want done.
Well, there is every possibility that you were provided. I think that copy of the motion that was made. There's every possibility that's a different issue.
Right.
Okay. But you are not providing us with any more information. That's true.
I'm providing this information. If you want more,
Okay.
tell me. If
No, we already told you.
You told me. What's the rest of the board?
Well, they're part of this dilemma. I'm going to quit all this dancing. The reality is there was an offer that came forward, thought there was a timeline, was going to be much better. In order to discuss that, this topic was discussed at some level in closed session. We then all agreed that this topic needs to move out into the public, where so that people are aware that what Bob may or may not want to do with this, what the options are, they work. There is a disagreement amongst of us sitting up here as to what it was supposed to happen. Now, there are at least 2, if not 3, who think we were supposed to turn left. 4 of us think we were supposed to turn right. It happens.
I believe it was a 7-0 vote.
Well,
I have the wording right here. Now, you can say left, you can say right. As far as I saw, everybody went the same direction.
We do have a tape of it. I listened to that tape twice.
I mean,
because
you can try to make it say
I
something.
don't know how many times you listened, but I heard it twice.
Bottom line is, Bob, you have done what you asked to do. Thank you.
That's not quite true. There's an.
It is what I asked him to do. If I asked him to do the wrong thing, that's on.
What's
Okay,
that going
it
under?
is.
What's that going under?
Is that fair enough?
What's that going under?
Yeah, okay.
Code of conduct? Is that what that goes under?
I would like to make a motion right now, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Mr. Perry, do you want me to move forward or wait?
Huh?
You just told me to move forward.
Are you still on the Pine Shore?
I'm right here until you all direct me to move forward. I'm not getting in this fight.
Okay, I can wait until you finish it, okay?
It's up to you all.
No,
I mean, it's your
I just
meeting.
said so.
He's
Go
done.
finish it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Next thing we're going to cover, budget review. Here are the dates. We formulated, they were in, you guys have already agreed to dates at the organizational meeting.
Right.
I've talked with the liaison with Budget and Finance, Terry. We talked with Dennis Hudson to discuss dates of meeting with his committee. So all these dates were in there. I've talked to Tom Terry, Dan, and our secretary, Dan, about deliveries. So I just wanted to make sure all this was out there. I didn't want there to be any questions or, hey, we didn't know.
Does that delivery date of the budget seem awfully late? Did that come back?
Do whatever you want.
Okay.
I don't-
I would, yeah, as soon as you're finished this topic, I would like to back. I don't have to put the rep, I'll just make a motion.
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. So we had to do this. Okay, I move that the President direct the General Manager to cancel the town hall meeting schedule.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Discussion.
Okay. The rationale for doing it, canceling the town hall meeting, is that we had in a closed session, we agreed, as Tom said, to open up a subject that we've been discussing many months. This meeting, town hall meeting, was scheduled by the President without board approval. Given that this is a matter of great importance and was a subject that was being currently discussed by the board, explored by the town, he had no right to do this unilaterally without the specific approval of the board. He doesn't have that approval. Therefore, I'm requesting it be canceled. The meeting was scheduled despite clear intention that it not be done until the board had all of the needed information and agreed to proceed. There are several different issues that came up during that meeting, including things like zoning, permitted uses, a whole raft. And And the fact of the matter is, the board members felt that it was inappropriate to have a public meeting until you had all the information to present evidence, including the board's recommendation. If the board doesn't recommend this, then there is no reason for it. It was totally inappropriate for our president to schedule that meeting. And that's my reason for wanting it. And by the way, I mean, it's more than that. We were not even told. I learned of the meeting from Marty Clark. He learned of it from Joe Reynolds, who got it through the press release. This is the first time we knew. I called Ray Younger the morning, almost immediately after I heard it, and I was on my way to the admin building so I could review the tapes. And Ray told me, hey, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we decided that we weren't going to have that meeting until we got more information. Is that about right, Ray?
My understanding is we had a vote 7-0 to take the offer that we had made off the table.
Yes,
correct?
That's true.
The second motion that came in was that we're going to have a press release advising people of that motion.
That's correct.
Where did the meeting? Where did this other meeting? Why would they have? I don't understand why it would be necessary to go out in the public and discuss something that's not going to happen.
Right after that, I called Sharon, and it was on a slightly different subject.
If I remember correctly, isn't also part of that motion that we were giving the freedom to still talk to anyone having to do with this property?
Absolutely, to explore.
If he wanted to bring us an opportunity that made sense to bring it to this meeting, so that we as a board could say, hey, that's a great idea. The great idea of using it as a drainage relief, I believe, was 7-0 no. Now, if there's a new reason.
When did we vote on
We
that?
didn't vote on
We did not
that.
vote on that.
We did not vote on that.
But we voted on two things.
Withdrawing
That's all we voted.
because the discussion topic was drainage relief.
And I have. I mean, I have.
Mr. Terry?
Then I talked.
No, Mr. Discussion.
More.
May I just clear up one thing? The bylaws of Ocean Pines Association gives the president the authority to call a special meeting of the members, and it gives the president the authority to call a special meeting of the board of directors. Now, that's not the real issue here, but the president did have the authority to call for a special meeting of the members, as does, by the way, a majority of the board of directors, or upon the written petition signed by members of 15% of the voting. So the president does have the authority. I just want to, that shouldn't matter as to your debate, Dave, but that's...
It doesn't matter with respect, with all due respect, when it is a clear intention of a board in a closed meeting. You just heard Dre repeat remarkably well exactly what decided at the end. And then the president does something that is contrary to that vote. And I think we have to object and object publicly. And I believe that meeting, in that case, was illegally called.
No, it's not illegally called, Dave. It wasn't illegally called. It was called in accordance with the bylaws.
No.
If you all roll with that and want to direct something different, that's fine. But to say that it's an illegal act of the president is just not correct.
Well, I think, I know exactly what the bylaw is saying. And there's several things that are a little bit different about it. First of all, he didn't call a town meeting. He didn't call it for the board of directors and acting in his role as president of the board. He instructed Bob Thompson to call and give a town meeting. That's not the same thing as a meeting.
All right. We're going back and forth here under.
Can I just ask?
Sure.
Why are you so against town hall meeting about this subject? I'm just curious.
Why not have a town hall meeting about buying a jet airplane so we don't
That's
have
not
to
what I
ask?
asked you.
Okay, I can answer the
Okay,
question.
please do, please do.
Because town hall meeting, go out and get, and first of all, you have to be able to put some facts in front of it, whose opinions you're being asked. We do not have those facts. We do not have. We do not have a consensus among the board. The board have said that we don't have sufficient information. And to do that, exactly, well, first of all, I can ask what purpose it would possibly serve. But second of all, I can ask, how much confusion are you going to cause? How much, I mean.
And I totally disagree with that. I'll give you my answer. The decision was made to pull this subject out of closed session so that the members of Ocean Pines would know about this conversation. And that was said many times by a lot of people there. So if you want them to know, they're not going to know at this meeting because there's not that many of them here. People come to town hall sessions here because they want to hear it. They're done at a time when they can usually come, when the greatest amount of people can come. If you wanted people to know what was going on, and we've given Bob the go-ahead to still discuss it, he may want to hear whether the people want him to even continue discussing it.
Well,
If the majority of us don't want to continue discussing
Discussing
it,
it, then we
what's
don't
the sense
really-
of having?
But who's the majority?
We haven't voted on
Who
it.
voted?
Let's vote on it.
We did vote on it. We voted to take it off the table.
we take it, voted.
We didn't vote. We didn't vote on discussing it.
Unless he presented new information.
One at a time. Dan, go ahead.
We voted to take
An offer.
off the
Right.
specific stuff. We
Off of
also voted the same to have the gentleman continue exploring possibility. But we're not telling these people that we're talking about exploring the possibility of purchasing an adjacent piece of property, Ocean Pond, approximately 95 change, for a bargain basement price. And looking back in history, and this was part of our design, I listened to that tape this morning, so I know.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, you just said bargain basement price.
I said
And would
bargain
you like-
basement
and would
price
you
is
like-
not, that's not on,
It's not.
that's coming out of my rate.
That's
So
right.
that might be
Without
my
evidence.
comments,
One at
sir.
a time, please.
Thank you. I do have four at the moment. We voted those two things in one vote. And then we voted to authorize the president to instruct the general manager to make this public and get public feedback on the issue. We didn't instruct the general manager how to do that. We didn't tell the president how to make that happen. We didn't do any of it. Okay? Now, we're asking ourselves here, as far as I'm concerned, or what we're talking about is we're saying, okay, wait a minute, no, we did decide to tell the general manager how to take public, and we did decide to determine how to get public feedback. That's not true. We simply said, take public, get public feedback. If the general manager feels, and the president feels in instructing the general manager, that a public meeting is a good way to get feedback on something like that, are we going to walk in and say, oh, no, it's not, after it's been announced? I don't think so.
Dan, if I may read the exact words of the second motion.
Michelle, have that in your file there. If we're going to open this meeting up, I have that.
I mean, I might.
I have it.
Okay,
I have it
right
precisely
here.
as
The
I'll-
board authorizes the president to instruct the general manager to release this information. This information being exactly what Ray said, the motion that was previously passed, at such time as convenient after the current emergency is cleaned up. Remember, we're doing this the Saturday before Sandy realized he might not be able to get out Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And in fact, okay, it didn't come out much later than that because our president instructed him not to put it out.
It still isn't.
And it still isn't out. That still has not been complied. And that's the exact motion.
Okay.
We can go in and get the tape and listen
I
to
did
it.
this morning. I said it says exactly. I move that the board, that's me, authorizes the president to instruct the general manager to release this information at such time as is convenient after the current emergency is cleaned up. That's word for word what's on the tape.
Well, I just
And that's
Now,
what
if
I
we want to
second.
stop the meeting, we can go get the tape.
No, that's
we
what
can
I
spend an
said.
hour
We just
getting
said
the
that.
tape.
I
That's
just
what we
read
said.
it.
That's
Dan
it.
has the
But,
floor.
but the point here is there's nothing that says how to send this information out. It doesn't even identify this information.
Yes.
Okay, we had a long meeting talking about different kinds of information that had to deal with this. And the press release wasn't designed to just go out and say, hey, we decided not to buy a piece of property. Sorry. It was to go out and get public feedback on what the situation with what Ocean Pines property owners would feel about something like this and how they would react. At least that's my understanding. And I think 4 other people at this table understood it that way.
Are you saying that you've got the majority, Dan? Well,
No, I'm not
Ray,
saying
I
a
think
word
it's
about
Ray.
it. I haven't said a word about it. Don't
Yes,
take
you
words
did.
out of my mouth.
No,
You just did.
no.
Oh, hold on.
You said
No.
4.
You just did.
Okay, gentlemen.
Excuse me, can we just have a friendly
All right.
Keep it on the list.
discussion? Please, let's be friendly.
Keep it on the list. Okay, Paul?
Please
First
be
of all,
friendly.
it's my understanding, Jimmy Bunny, that the county is going to repair that pipe underneath Beecham Road up there, to give our drainage better. It does, and it doesn't make a damn bit of difference who owns the property on the other side. That's something that there were have been quite a few. As Bob said, he's been waiting quite long. Second, with the damage that was done over at the pool, okay, and we don't know yet, but we could be very easily looking at $100,000, $250,000 out of budget in this year's budget that we're going to have to come up. So as far as I'm concerned, that puts the Beecham property even further down the road of consideration, as far as I'm, because where are we going to get the money?
Okay, I've given everybody plenty of time to load their guns and aim them at me on this one. Reality is, the meeting clearly, and I have explained this to a couple of gentlemen numerous times already, that the intent was to get these discussions out into the public. That was my intent. It was the same intent, same approach that was taken on the yacht club. We had not voted yes on the yacht club when we went to town meetings to start getting input from the community on what we might or might not do. It's that simple. My intent was to get this discussion out into the public so that maybe the members might actually have an opinion on what we should or should not do. I don't disagree with you, Ray, and you know it, that we don't have the money to do this. But my intent was to get it out from behind the closed door into the public. That was the intent. Now, if these gentlemen, and you have made a motion and seconded, that we should not have a public meeting to gather input from our members for whatever reason, then that is your motion, and we shouldn't
That
do it.
wasn't my motion.
Your motion was to cancel the public.
That was, and that was not the rationale that I got. The rationale was that we do not. If we had the same presentation to the public that we just had right now, then it would be dead wrong. Well, who's going to approve that presentation? Who's going to review it? When is it going to be made? Okay, I mean, look,
But
let's
you know
vote
what?
on it.
Just real quick though, you're forgetting that we had a lot of discussion prior to us doing any of this. Bob gave us a ton of information. The public doesn't have that. So there is information to give them. There's not new information to you. But it'll be new to them.
There is information that Bob has that he didn't give us. I mean, and you know, I'm going to make sure that information is out.
Call the question. All those in favor of the motion?
Right.
Could you
Repeat
What,
the
y'all
motion.
please repeat the motion? Exactly.
Please.
Sure. I apologize for that. I actually had the motion typed. I was printing it out, and the computer ate it. I move that the president direct the general manager to cancel the town hall meeting scheduled for next week.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And just for the record, Mr. Stevens did tell me that he was going to make this motion. So, secret.
I wanted to see if new information was available first.
I just wanted to make it clear that people understood.
I think there's been several things said about that town meeting that are going to have to come out this time now, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that they're verbatim, word for word.
Back to the budget.
I'm almost done. I'll leave it over here. So we can process.
Hey, you can sit there. Come
I
on, Bobby.
have a question on the budget. The back timing of it.
Yes, sir.
You're showing that the budget's delivered to the board and the Budget and Finance Committee on the 2nd of January.
That's correct.
The Ocean Pines budget schedule and workflow process as approved by the board and presented by the Budget and Finance Committee, Advisory Committee, would have had that sometime closer to Christmas.
Is that last year's?
Last year, this year. I mean, it's
No,
the
that's
same.
not this year.
It's the same time. I mean, this is what was
No.
passed by the board. Nothing changed.
Oh, but that's not this Budget and Finance Committee's time. I have their time.
When is that one say?
January 2nd.
January 2nd. Well, that's a loss of 7 days going into a budget.
Right, Dennis? January 2nd, right?
Yes, and the reason rationale,
Yeah. Thank you.
we have to spend hours and hours and hours according to the budget. Bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's run way behind you. You're not going to make it up when you got deadlines.
We're good.
coming up.
Good.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Public comment.
Wait.
Are you done, Bob?
I can be done. Trust me, I'm done. Look, I'm done. Yeah, I'm definitely done.
Ernie Artis, 37 Quarterstaff Place. I'm just here tonight to ask the board to consider hiring general manager of the yacht club operation. For years, the yacht club has been up and down, people pointing fingers at other people, why it doesn't make money. Demographics have changed greatly. For the first time, studies have proven that people 35 and under are not dining out like they used to. Darden Corporation, which is the biggest restaurant corporation in America, who has 2,000 restaurants, served over 4 million meals last year. Their revenue is down 22% this year. For this yacht club, for this community to be spending $4 million plus on a new restaurant and bar, you should give it the best opportunity to make it. You need to get a standalone general manager for this operation. There's people out there with 15, 20 years experience in the food and beverage industry who have a passion for it. You need to hire one of these. Find them and hire them. This is the only way you can honestly give this operation a chance to make it. So consider that, and guess what? Maybe that person will be a woman. Wouldn't it be great to have a general manager as a woman in this community? But truly, if you think it's going to make it under the current bickering that goes on here, it ain't. Bob Thompson has proven he knows nothing about it. Amen.
Next.
Al Wenning, East Fair Lane, and
Excuse me, I need
It's
to
hard
look
to
here.
hear.
I just want to congratulate the new members that I'm comfortable with, Marty Clark and Ray Unger here, and just say Resurfacing, like them. And I would like to know, I'm concerned about, I have to pay golf, I have to pay for swimming and tennis. But yet the people that own boats, I know Marty Claude is fighting this sore thumb 10 years. And what I'm concerned about are the boats that are in dismay with barnacles. They're sitting on trailers without any registration, licensing, and they're just sitting there. They're like a car without wheels, and there's no enforcement. And then we're becoming to be, like the missus says, a halfway house. The people are buying property here that only live here a period of time. They're finding it more profitable to buy the house and to put their 50-foot yacht because there's no restriction on length or height. So when you get out in the morning, you're feeling like you're in a marina instead of the pine. Now, I had a boat myself, and I have compassion for it. But I had to go all the way to Cambridge, a Gateway Marina, to pay $1,000 instead of $5,000, $8,000 down. That's it. For other local places, because it's hard to get into the Ocean Pine Marina. It's always. I don't know how to identify this, but I think you could create some regulations like you have on sheds. Even though it's 10 by 12, some people are going up 20 foot. But at least you got it 10 by 12. And the only thing I can ask for you to discuss this, like all of us pay for the other activities. I have a jet ski. I don't mind paying. I wouldn't mind paying. I don't mind paying for the pool. I don't mind paying for the golf. I want to thank Bob for bringing that new manager in, which we had situations with the other one that he would hit the golf ball when we're putting. That was uncharitable. And I'm grateful for this new golf manager. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pull up old stream, 12 blow down. The first thing I want to tell you something, man. I've been coming 20 years to the board. Every board meeting I came to, you people talk 30% from the time about yacht club they go. It's not going to work. Here, our manager came up with a proposal for lifetime membership. He spent $1 million on the golf course. He said, the people who get that membership, that lifetime, they're going to pay for it. He got $200,000. He spent $1 million. Where is our money gone? Tom, let me talk to you, Tom. I can go along with you. The same thing with the coffee house. He brainwashed you people about the coffee house. Spend $100,000. Disaster. Spend $1 million on the golf course. A disaster. Mr. Thompson told me personally that he's going to control the board. You people not controlling the manager. You all have to start waking up. He walks an hour up and down and he tells you everything what you people like to know. And it's not working, people. The same thing that he's supposed to have that meeting about that property. When we had the town meeting about the yacht club, 2 hours he talked. And then when we put the pressure on him, he cut the meeting off. He said, meet me in my office. He cannot take criticize. We got the wrong man. He's an investor. He's not a general manager. You people think he's spending all money. Who's going to pay them? You just mentioned, Ray, about the yacht club. We built a new yacht club. Sure, $4 million. Everybody comes and look. But when they have to start paying the price, they're not coming back. I'm getting tired. I'm living here. I can hardly afford to live over here. I got a sick wife that cost me a lot of money. This man is spending all money. You keep raising my dues. We have to stop it. If your board members cannot control the manager, I ask you to resign and get other people. He's gone too far. His ego is too big. And it's not working, people. Now, you told me, Tom, I had a meeting with you about the 10th hole. You're supposed to get 10 lots. You say it's not going to happen. I read in the paper he's doing it again. He's brainwashing the people. He's not getting the money what he tells you. The same thing he's thinking everybody around here got a wedding comes to the yacht club. Got a party comes to the yacht club. No. There was this week in the paper. Ocean Pine is a good place to have a restaurant. How come every restaurant goes out of business? Who's talking here? Somebody is lying. It's what I'm saying. And I want to say now something. Mr. Moore, you are elect Mr. Moore, or Mr. Moore, you're Moore, right? You're elect Clark to be finance minister. You told me, Tom, the lady is 100% able to do. Pete Thompson, he don't have the guts to run for second time. He know he was going to defeat it. He was not a well-liked man.
That's not exact people who aren't here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're supposed to let that lady do the finance without Pete Thompson. You got trust in that lady. Let us have trust in that lady. Not put Pete Thompson on her back. That's wrong. But I want to tell you people, you better all start waking up. 5 years from today, if everything goes broke, who are we going to blame it on? The people cannot come back and say, oh, Tom Terry's fault. You have to go and control the man. He's gone too far. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Oh, I'm scared too.
Thank you. Dutch, you broke it. Randy Rothbard, Surfer's Way. Originally, I was going to ask how this purchase of this Pine Shore golf property was moving forward because the Pines Progress had reported that Bell voted 7-0 to end moving forward. Well, you've told me why you're moving forward. I don't have to ask that question. The question I do have for you now is this. Ray Unger, Tom, and I'm sure Marty agree that the bargain basement price of $1.5 million could well be spent much better if we had the $1.5 million on other projects. Road surfacing, which hasn't been done for years, you're starting to move forward on it again. The yacht club pool, whether it needs to be replaced or fixed. The deck still needs to be replaced. It was been in the capital budget for years and never taken place. Swim and racket building obviously needs some work. Beach club building needs major remodeling. Just to name a few projects. But yet you just voted to go ahead with a public meeting to talk about buying a piece of property we can't afford. That you know you can't afford. Does that make any sense at all to you, board members? To vote yes, move ahead to tell the people of Ocean Pines, we want to buy a piece of property cost $1.5 million or more when we don't have the money, and you got a myriad of other projects that need to be done. Does it make any sense at all to me? And I don't think it makes any sense to anybody sitting in this office that you would vote to spend or move forward, even discuss a project that you don't have the money for anywhere in the near foreseeable future. Thank you.
Reinhardt. I don't think it's on, Joe. Have it. Joe Reinhardt, Section 6, Lot 342. I just want to take this time to thank all the members of the Board of Directors for their countless hours of service, and I just appreciate the job you're doing. I know it's a very thankless job, and I just wanted to say how proud I am of my community for the Public Works Department in general. During Hurricane Sandy, I called, we had a drainage backup in our area, and Sharon O'Hare answered the phone. I thought that was very, very awesome, and I had some Public Works home back within 10 minutes. So I just wanted to applaud everybody on that job, and job well done, and Bob organizing that great relief effort, community as a whole. One question I have for Bob is about the resurfacing project. I was just wondering if Falcon Bridge Road is on the agenda, resurfacing. If not, I don't know. I'm sure you have to look into it.
Yeah, I can call you tomorrow. Yeah.
If not, I ask you this time, and all the board members, to please drive down my road and just to see, just go down my road and feel all the bumps. And please consider Falcon Bridge Road on the new resurfacing project. And I challenge all the board members as well as the general manager to do that. I know there's been a lot of new homes, and there's been a lot of several dig ups and patches and stuff like that, and just respectfully request that that would be taken into consideration. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bob, you'll get back to Joe and where he sits on the list. Anybody else? Okay, old business discussion, general manager's quarterly report. Request from Dave Stevens. Dan, you and Dave kind of went back on this one.
I'm sorry, but in your package, you don't have a copy of the memorandum that Dave sent around. I
thought there was.
I thought it was in mine too. It's grown legs. But this is
Michelle just passed it.
Yeah. But this is Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, that's my request.
His request, and
Which I can clearly see is not going to be the answer. And I didn't expect. Not that I didn't want it, I just didn't expect it. Yeah, basically, I mean, part of Bob's already done part of the question, which is to respond to the requirement for a quarterly report with forecasts for the entire fiscal year, and Bob has done that. What I had also asked for, and clearly won't be done tonight, is to basically have the yacht club manager come in and talk to us. I mean, David's been here, I don't know, May, April, something like that. Yeah. And and Bob, you have touted David as being a great manager and with tons of experience. And I just think that after he's had certainly a full season now, main season, that I'd like to know what he thinks about what we can do to turn around the yacht club and what its current situation is, and what the transition to the new yacht is going to be. I asked some time ago for, in responding to your request for comments on your draft business plan, some questions about that transition, what we have. So at any rate, there's a lot of information. I don't want to, I would like to hear David McLaughlin give us the answers, because, hopefully he's the expert. A lot of questions. So I think as soon as possible, we ought to schedule that. I think doing it today would have been inappropriate because of information covered. It deserves more time myself. Oh, at any rate, that's what I said. I said the same thing about Billy Casper. Now we're going to have the Casper schedule. January. And again, we'll have it. The third thing on the thing, I'm going to read it. Over the past few months, boards have approved a very large number of out-of-budget and/or unfunded expenditures, primarily involving the golf course renovation and drainage. Not only though. None of these expenditures came from a funding source dedicated to the purpose or directly from the census. The last one we voted on, for example, $550,000 we're going to put as a deficit in the drainage reserve account. So minus 540, whatever other minuses we still have. And some of these expenditures are to complement the lifetime membership sales, which fell short of its goal and are being taken from the historic reserve, as I understand it. Of course, the previous golf games were also taken from the historic reserve. Now, we have sort of a promise that, I think, an agreement by our president that the money, the $540,000, we're going to build a schedule for repaying. I also believe we need a schedule for repaying money in the historic reserves. But historic reserves are basically, and I think you started to say this at the last meeting, now I'm not going to hear, but at any rate, they're there because we depreciate for specific purpose of trucks and computers and lots of things. Now, we came to the conclusion, the majority of the board did, that we could spend it for other things too. Okay, I'm not going back on that. But having reached that conclusion and having done it, how are we going to repay it? Now, I'd really like to have board meetings or Art Farmer and come to the board and sort of trail, do a sort of, here's the money flow. Here's what we took out. Okay? Where is it going to go? How are we going to put it back in? The schedule, same thing, the schedule for the drainage reserve. I basically would like a review of our reserve from Art and to be able to understand where we are before we get into this next budget season. So I'm not making a motion on this. I simply asked for it for today's meeting. Can't happen, but I would hope that people would agree and resolve to do something.
Can I just add quickly to that? Dave, reserves is the hot topic in budget finance as well. So I don't know whether it's possible if Art is going to do that, because I believe that Dennis had wanted Art to come in and kind of do a thing like that with budget finance. I don't know whether it's possible to do, he can do budget finance time or whatever, but that is...
I mean, board meetings are open. And,
so it might be...
But I think at a meeting like this, you would expand it such that budget finance would ask questions that would be important. Do you think we can schedule that? I mean, does anybody disagree?
No,
Dave, you've asked for several meetings to have our yacht club manager, and I agree. I think we should have a quarterly, just listen what his thoughts are. What he thinks is doing good, what he do better, what he's come up with, whatever. I think you're absolutely right. The Casper Golf is coming in on the 8th. Good is it possible? And then we get David in just to tell us what he feels is going on. Because it's all going to affect the budget. And our budget next year with the yacht club is going to be while we're under construction. We have a new building coming up. There's going to be different numbers for that. I would like to see Dave too.
Keep in mind, because of that, and what's going to be going over the next 50 days, construction and everything else, putting out a definite plan of what's going to be done and how it's going to be done will be very difficult today. But I agree, he should have, specific goals somewhere on the line.
He just needs to talk to us.
Yeah.
Now, what are the issues? A lot of things have happened at the yacht club. I mean, he has personnel issues. I mean, everybody can understand, but what are they?
Perhaps, if I may, he could. I think he's going to be part of the budget process. We're expecting a business plan. Maybe he could do that all in one whack. Save having 3 different meetings with Dave.
Well, I may add to that point that rings a bell. The business plan, in my mind, anybody disagrees, let's get it out here. plan should precede budget and be based upon what budget. I mean, the budget should be based upon what it should provide the basis of the budget. Is what I'm trying to say. I was late, but that comes first. So you're right, Maureen. I mean, the topic of discussion for David might be the yacht club business. Okay, what are the elements of what? I mean, we don't.
This all has to do with the budget process. Very fundamental is orchestrate the appropriate approach. I don't want 3 special meetings. We also have some good ideas here that make sense.
I know
It takes 3, we have.
Stop.
I know Terry doesn't want a special meeting, but in these cases, I do. And I don't care when they are.
Marty never wants a special.
No, you know what?
All of us.
I don't think we're focusing here, guys. We got 34 days till the budget book hits our desk. It's hitting our desk, what I think, 7 days late. That's not picking on anybody. It's just I'm used to getting. I don't have a life. I take my budget book and read it over Christmas. The point I'm making here is we got 34 days to say that you want the business plan before the budget. Too late.
Let it be my problem.
If we get it after the budget, it's
This is in Terry's hands at this point.
I'll take it back.
This is in Terry's hands.
Business plan, future here, where would
Business case, business planning for the different resources.
Okay. Next steps, OPA facilities planning. I know you got some feedback from some folks.
I covered it.
Yeah.
You guys missed
You missed it. It's not surprising.
Short and sweet. I've been getting feedback. I still have one more that you're going to provide it to. And then what we're doing is we're looking at the information that was provided, seeing how that stacks up amongst you all, and then we'll re-rack, stack everything based on what you provided. So kind of go to the next step.
I didn't get any feedback. I'm really curious is what, I'm just now seeing some of the others. I did see Dan's. Is this what you're looking for? Was that close?
You all did it in a different format, in a different way.
That shouldn't be a surprise.
And that's okay. I mean, I'm just looking for feedback, so I make sure I'm hitting the mark. You start delivering on some of this, go, yeah, I heard you, and here's some input based on it.
If what we're giving you isn't right, you will let us know.
Well, I'm sure.
No, I mean, really, it takes an email.
I'm not bashful.
I can
definitely
convert.
reach out.
Good.
I've only seen 3, so.
That's all we're around.
There's Dave Stevens.
Well, because I started doing almost exactly what Dan was doing. And then I read Dan's and I thought, this is so I'm sorry, Terry. I just said ditto.
All right.
Take it back, David. We're out.
No, there's 3.
No, counting you.
Well, wait a minute, this is easy. Dan.
It was exactly how I was.
There you go. It's all done.
All right, moving on. Budget and Finance Committee recommendation.
In your packet, you will see it is 4 pages with Dennis Hudson's signature at the end. Little rubber stamp. These are just recommendations that the Budget and Finance Committee worked very hard coming up with. They do a lot of emailing back, which is really kind of neat when they get it all together. A lot of time spent on it. These are just the Budget and Finance recommendations, things to consider. Here, Bob, while you're doing this process, here's our opinion. That's what it is. Bob already has it. So it's just something that we wanted you all, and actually you all got it a long time ago. So
Dennis, I'm going to suspend the rules for a second. Dennis, you're here. Would you like to add anything?
Well, I'll just give you the intent in putting this together. The concern about revenue, that seems like it is a problem. It's kind of preempt with my our revenue.
Dennis, I can't hear you. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I can't
Just
either.
stand up and I
Hard to hear,
apologize. I
Dennis.
can't hear you.
Dale, you want to do this? All right. I'm trying to tell you why we came up with what we came up, and I'm not going to sit down. I'll yell. My concern is, and I think the committee's concern is that in our forecasting revenue, that we have to be aware of the fact that disposable income is dropping. And it may drop even further depending on what happens at the end of this year, what happens to taxes next year. So what we're proposing is not to lay off a bunch of people, not to do anything like that. Proposing is to freeze where we are. Basically, freeze where we are. Hold the fort right there through efficiencies or whatever else. And any increases have to be dealt with, not but for increases. He said good people should get an increase. But in no case should it affect the budget more than 1.3 or 1.5%. And you can argue with that number all you want. The intent there is that you just don't give across the board 3%. It has to be based on merit. Okay. I think you need to look at the health care costs. That is going to escalate. And I think you need to either revise the plan, change the compensation level, or whatever you have to do, but you're going to have to gain control of that now, not later, because it's out of control. It's not anything Bob controls. He just surprises him, and he gets it after the budget. Right, Bob? Don't you get the real numbers after the budget?
You get.
No, I'm just listening. You know what? I work with our healthcare provider. You guys have already met with them in great detail, so we're already doing that. I mean,
you're building it into the budget.
I do every year.
Okay.
Has to.
Good.
It's a big expense.
Got it. All right. So our intent there is we need to hold the line, because what we don't want to do is have operational creep eat up the bottom portion of it, which is the reserve portion, which we're really concerned about. You know, if we just add up the number of projects we have in our head and go into the kitty and see how much is sitting in it, we got a problem. All right, so that's our concern. Okay.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Dennis? Yes, sir. Good.
Yeah, I sent it out this afternoon. I don't know whether you received my comments or not.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I had them all kind of here and there and written over.
That's all right.
I decided to put it together at any rate. And basically, I just kind of went through the whole thing. And I think the issue is that some of the things in there, if the board agrees with them, you know, are budget concerns, and then other are more general financial management, this way better, stuff like that.
Now, one thing that Dennis did find out after I went through this document with Bob a while ago, that just like he said with the health care, we went through the whole bullet list. And a lot of them are already being done.
Being worked on.
Or being worked on. Budget finance doesn't know that. I mean, they do now. But they're going to they're going to do their work as a committee and come up with what they perceive as important committee work and just hand it off to Bob, just like your document. You know. So that's really it. Yes.
As both in conjunction with Dave's request, which frankly I agree with the third one most, generally discussion about reserve, and with Budget Finance Committee, is there any way to kind of get Mr. Carmine and the Budget Finance Committee together along with yourself and work that process to handle the issue that you're going to handle, so that we actually see a pretty good both reserve analysis and projection?
Yeah, that was the intent.
Because this whole 10-year plan that we're looking at is not only going to affect that, it's going to dictate that part three, and we should be thinking about that now, not 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's what the committee is actually. That's their next big task. Go ahead, Dan.
One person that should be included in Pete. And there's a reason for that. He has done a lot of this work already. He's published reports that assume it's hard to see. And I have them stack them when he gave the presentation to the Budget and Finance. That's what triggered this concern. That's what triggered the concern, because we can see the number. And Pete's done an excellent job. He knows them upside down and back. I'm not so sure Art does. Bob, please.
No, he He does. He's just quiet. He defers to. Staff shouldn't get in the mix of board, so it's just where I leave it. So.
Yeah. Well, certainly the Budget and Finance Committee can reach out to anybody they want. I mean, there's no rule against that. Within reason.
I'll put it together.
Within reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'll put it.
Very good.
I have just one suggestion. Thank you. This report, I know you put in our box on October 15th. I don't know if you watched the first 15 minutes of this meeting where I separated a pile of paper this high, and I picked papers up 2 days ago. There's a lot of stuff that comes before, and it all comes at the last hour. I didn't see this because it wasn't on an agenda. If it's not on the agenda, and I look at it and it goes over in this pile. So my suggestion is the next time, if you email us.
Well, we've already worked out our communication failures.
That's like a bell will work. I mean, just so we know it's
and that was strictly just us not being able.
Well, one of the problems, quite frankly, I'm new.
Yeah.
Karen,
And I'm new.
So two newbies.
We're two newbies. And
It's been in the box prior to last month's meeting.
yeah, we know.
I know
Yeah,
that.
we know.
I know.
It was us. It was me.
It was in the box, but I
You
didn't know it
two,
was
you two that have met, you've worked out.
we
I'm aware of
got
that,
it now.
communications issues, so put a bell around your neck and you'll be fine. Thank you, Dennis.
I refuse to.
And the rest of the committee as well. Thank you very much.
Moving right.
Moving right along. I'm going to give a little bit of a preamble on this one. I want to give a little kudos to Sharon. She has been going around being the newbie on one of the newbies on the ground here and attending virtually every advisory committee. So I've asked Sharon to kind of lead the charge here on some the advisory work. So that should help.
Well, this is just an informal discussion because you're right, I am new and I'm trying to learn. So I've tried to attend, I probably have attended 7 or 8 committee meetings. One that didn't even exist, wasn't here. So I also went to the executive council meeting. And first of all, I have to say we have a tremendous, talented group of people who live in this community. Because I usually go around to each meeting and said, why are you on this committee? What do you bring? And what's your reasoning? And when I hear their reasons and their abilities, I'm going, oh my God, are we blessed that we have people of this caliber who are giving us free information to help make us better. The one thing I'm finding out is I'm questioning if all the committees really still need to be or are effective, or maybe they don't even need to exist at this moment and may be brought back at another time. But the universal comment I keep hearing, and I'm not sure I agree with that, but I'm hearing is when the committee does a report, just perhaps like the one we just saw, it goes maybe to the liaison, maybe it goes to the president, maybe it goes to Mr. Thompson. There seems to be confusion, and it's pretty well spelled out in the where it's supposed to go. But then they're not hearing that. And I think if a committee's taking time to give their expertise and sit in a meeting for an hour or 2 hours or do whatever research they're doing, come up with a recommendation or a comment to us as the board that we owe them the response of some, either yes, we agree, no, we can't do it because it maybe costs too much money or it's not budget, consider it, or, we never thought about that. So I'd like to take a look at some of the committees, and I think all of us should look at our committee that we're all liaisons to something. And do you think the number one, your committee needs to continue? Do you need new members? A lot of the committees say they need members, and they don't know how to get it. And a lot of them are appointed from us, but we don't know. So I guess my comment is I need help from you. I think we all need to make that work ethic. We've got all these volunteers doing this work, and I think we need to be responsive to it.
What I've asked Sharon to do is take the lead of, first of all, reviewing the self-assessments that were sent in that we all got. that you can be the glue that pulls together this assessment of not only what is our communications, and what's falling apart, and what isn't, but also the question of committees that, you know, we have earlier this we had a discussion of isn't formally recognized but very active. We also have other committees that are, and I've had some similar conversations where we're not even sure why we exist. You know, we don't mind serving, but we're not exactly sure what we're actually doing now that Ocean Pines is evolved.
And maybe there's a need for a new committee that we don't even know about. Well, maybe
so
there's a selection committee for whatever we need to have.
So I've asked Sharon to lead the charge on that and discussion advisory every meeting.
And if anybody on the board has any comments about their committees, please, we'll chat.
Just, can I add one more comment here? And that's that hopefully part of what you're doing as you do the process is also looking at least developing recommendations board or board on what committees actually do and why they do it. How do we position a committee, or how do we use committees and why, so that that gets communicated clear with the committee. For example, Marine Activities Advisory Committee may only work 3 or 4 months a year doing some of the things that they do and not need to meet or work any other time.
Or the election committee.
Or the election committee, exactly. Well, which tends to work a little bit longer, but you know, it's we don't really, I personally don't think that we really tell people on committees, hi, it's really wonderful to have you here. Here's kind of what you can expect to be getting hit. Here's what you expect us with or for. And it will vary committee to committee and function by function, but it's still, I really think the board ought to be able to take a position and deliver it.
Well, it affects even the 10-year plan that we're talking. Because I know some of the things on the plan that I saw from you, Dan, and by Terry, is the parking lot at the beach club. Well, the environmental committee had made a report on that.
3 years
and they have not ever heard a thing back. Now, I'm not on that committee. I just sat in the meeting and went, really? Now, they also made a recommendation about the east, which I had gotten a copy of, and I thought, well, there's some comments there that it might be possible to use and some not, but at least these committees should hear back. I think we owe them that as a. So I'm hoping that we can all work together, and maybe if I talk to each one of you about your committees privately. Okay.
The other thing I brought up, executive council stuff, is the lack of employee, joining. And it's not because people aren't there. It's not even because they're not. I think the sort of it's not about their face and they're not going to do it. But, and if you used half of the energy and imagination, just not personally, you too, but staff in publicizing committees, bringing about forward, and the need for volunteers, I think might be better result. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, I've asked Sharon to take the lead on this, and Michelle, do I have a committee appointment? Okay. CPI.
All right, let's start with the 5.5 wind cam. You see, the individual's been contacted. You see the disrepair of the house. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. You see the disrepair that the house is in. You see the condition. You see the follow-up, the contacts we made with the individual. We're recommending that we send it to the attorney kind of where I was last time, and all of a sudden it got sideways. So you all are going to have to come inside. But send it to the attorney so they can send a letter trying to force the action. Yes, sir.
First comment, I think that first we need to find it in continuing violation, because it only can be done by the, obviously it would appear to be in violation, but I have a question. Is this the house that was literally abandoned on Windjammer for about 5 or 6 years? And this guy just bought it?
I don't know that.
I mean, I hate to discourage somebody who's taking what was worse than these pictures, if this is the house.
Right.
And because he's running out of money, I would move that we find him in violation and have our attorney notified.
First and a second. All those in favor?
That's a continuing violation.
Continuing violation. In violation, that qualifies.
All right.
Did you get that? Was it all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor, continuing violation and sent to the attorney for action.
Yes.
The next one that I would like to point out is the 11 Gatehouse Trail. The picture pretty much tells you there's an RV park there.
Are they trying to hide it?
Trying to hide.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, I don't think it's trying to hide. It's just trying to fence. I can't comment to that part.
Same motion.
Oh.
Get him, Joe.
Oh, sure. Make a motion to find them in continuing violation.
Or second.
And
All those in favor?
and send to the attorney for action.
And send to the attorney for action.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Just check. I want it clear. I'm here. I want it clear.
I do want to make it.
Yes.
Again, maybe it's just because of Thanksgiving and holidays. I didn't have an opportunity. I voted yes, and I'll pay that price in hell. I believe that the director should go look at these things. I just didn't have time between picking up my package yesterday and now to go by and look at this one. In fact, I only looked at one, and it's just we need a little more lead time. Now, some directors don't think they have to look at it. My feeling is it wouldn't be in front of me if I didn't have to look at it. If I didn't have to look at it, why am I voting on it? Let somebody else.
Do you know a little further ahead of time, rather than like 2 days before the meeting, who these people are? Do you wait? I know you wait because they might pay. Is that
Coming to the board and having their property announced and those type of things, a lot of times it's a motivator. You don't see all the violations
right?
And getting down to the last couple of days, we validate the last couple of days before the board meeting, we validate the violation is still, someone, Jim Kerner, one of them arrived to make sure the violation is still there. I check to make sure that we have made contact, what steps we follow. And then if it's still in violation within 48 hours of having this, then I do bring it up. I removed one that is in your next one. We're working at from a different perspective.
Does it violate anything that when you're putting these packets out that you would put the addresses, you just give whoever wants them the addresses of the properties in an email to the directors so that they don't go pick up their packets physically, they can at least
I
drive
can
past?
send you a copy of this via email if you like.
Would that help, Marty?
It would help. I feel it's incumbent on me to look at it with my eyes.
So, yeah, maybe, it's a little different. Yeah, it would maybe give him an opportunity.
You probably took this one out because that's the one I went by and looked at, right?
Yes.
Let me call the question on the motion on the house. Okay.
All right.
Moving this continuous violation going to the lawyer. Opposed?
That was all.
What happened to the landscape detail?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. The last one, it's in your file. It's $105 permit fee right now. I'm going to try to resolve that. Otherwise, not have the board take action at this moment. Okay. If it continues in violation, I'll bring it back to you. But it's going to cost us more in attorneys.
You see my question.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's how much is the permit, and I don't think that's a fence either.
How much is the permit?
That's what I was asking.
$105.
For 3 sections of fence that don't
What's
fence
the
in
permit?
it.
You've got to go through the permit process.
You know, I did a lot of Caliban houses with architectural details. ECC called them fences. The court called them architectural details.
I can't comment on that.
All right, media questions.
They went out of here too.
Okay, motion to adjourn the closed session consultation with council.
So moved.
Nope. No. We have to vote for that, right?
Yes, we do. I'm at it. There's a motion. Very good.
Second.
Second? Dan?
Second.
I, for discussion though, the subject of this inquisition is what? And the protections allowed, I waive. I'd rather have the meeting open and public, unless somebody has the picture of me last New Year's Eve.
No, I got rid of it.
I'm not too concerned.
I feel that motion. Marty agrees. I believe that it should be an open session.
I mean, we serve them.
What is it for?
Well, I mean, that's
I've been told.
That's kind of the point. Nobody
No. What is it?
for consultation.
Consultation of the attorney, but I've been told by the president that I violated a code of conduct that was rescinded in May of 2007. So I guess that means if I'm still eating meat on Friday, I'm going to burn it.
Joe, I'll take your advice on.
Well, Marty, I don't concede that the purpose of the advice that I'm going to give the board relates to your situation.
I don't know my situation. Is it
Well,
something I should be
I don't
concerned about?
either, but the point is that if you all vote to have it in open session, you're not going to get a lot of consultation from your attorney because that will most assuredly violate the attorney-client privilege. So whatever comes out of that is free game for not only the people in this room, but anybody in the Worcester County community. So it is appropriate because it is part of the function of the closed session provisions of the Homeowners Association Act, consult with legal counsel. If you want to consult with me effectively, you will do it in closed session. If you want to do it
If I want to
open
consult
session,
with you, I'll enter into a binding.
No, but it's not your privilege, Marty. It's not your privilege. It's the privilege
Of this association. You're the association's attorney, not Mike.
No, I'm not your attorney. I'm the association's attorney, and the board represents the association.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
If I may, Joe, more years ago than I was told that basically there has been an accusation of leveled against Marty, and that we're going to meet in closed session on this complaint. But Marty, having asked what the complaint was, they just not told. So he's like going into, I mean, how does he know what of the possible range of things that could be? How does he know which one that is? And isn't it a basic right before you go into a court or any kind of a thing like that you have the right to know what it is that you're being accused of?
of course.
Well,
But that is most appropriate when you're talking about consultation with legal counsel. If I wasn't here, okay, if I wasn't here, you all could do whatever you want because you would not be consulting legal counsel. But respectfully, I am not going to provide. I don't know what the results of this discussion are going to be. But I most assuredly will not engage with you all in accordance with what I've been told this is, and that's consultation with me as legal counsel. I will not do that in an open session. It may be appropriate at some time to open it up to an open session. But when you all are asking me, if you are going to ask me questions about legal circumstances, I'm not going going to give you that advice in open session. That's simple and straightforward because I don't know what it is you're going to ask me. So,
neither do I.
well, and the point is that discussion about that should occur in a closed session because it's consultation with your lawyer.
Well, then, Mr. President, I will repeat my motion that we adjourn this regular meeting and adjourn the closed session.
I would still have a question.
Yeah, and I think we're still in discussion.
Still in discussion, right? We're still in discussion. Is it understood by the board that in voting to go into closed session, that we are only going to consult with the attorney on a legal question, and we are not going to have any kind of charges or any kind of accusation of any kind or complaints against Mr. Clark? Is that understood?
That's my clear understanding, sir, is that we are consulting for attorney.
And we are going to do that on general issues without any specifics or anything.
Why was I then told that I have violated?
Marty, let me, I will say
Be
this.
careful, you got.
I understand. I
don't want you to violate it.
I will say this. I have had, and I believe I'm correct, I have had 4 circumstances, I've had 5 circumstances where an inquiry or a complaint or a charge has been made against a board member. Okay? There is a process by which that moves forward, and it cannot happen today. It will not happen today because it cannot happen today. In all of those instances, the accusation as well as the response was entitled to be made in private because that's where people are candid. So it's not, if it were 5 persons' complaint against 2 persons, the 5 people who make the complaint have the right to have that be considered in accordance with the process that is in Ocean Pines. So it's simply...
That's the very issue that caused Ray Unger to vote to rescind 1-5-whatever. That's the very issue. It was a matter of the majority stifling the voice of the minority.
But that's not what happens. Look,
you know, one of the
let's
cases of somebody being charged was my 3rd meeting, 2007, first elected board member. Do you remember? That one of those cases was me, and I was sandbagged at a meeting, and an accusation was made.
Well, wait a minute. Then I'm going to say there's 6 because I don't remember that.
You don't remember the Biancanello testimony I made before the law? And I was accused of supporting...
I was not in that case, Marty, because you had me disqualified.
No. You're wrong. You were not in one case because I hadn't been wrong. Because I knew I was place your court.
Well, that's... Thank you. I will have that one.
Call the question. Can we call the question? I'm going to call the question. All those in favor, raise motion. Session. Aye. Say aye. Opposed? Going closed session.
No, you may be. I may not.
It's your choice.
If the members can't hear it, there's no reason I should hear it.
Could we have a 5-minute break, please?
Yeah.
Just don't tell them you're taking
Hold on for now.
We're moving over to the other.
Right. You just voted against what you voted for in 07. Is that right?
I know it. Good.
He was given us that number.
I know this.
I'm aware of that.
Well,
That's not. I know you, but that's not the point.
The very next week, What are we going to do?